media.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the episode. I've got a powerful guest with me, someone whose story goes from the streets of Charlotte, North Carolina, but is now transforming into something inspiring. He's been through it all, hustling, prison, loss, rebuilding, and today he's part of the Turn 90 program, earning recognition all across the country. And most importantly, he's a proud grandfather. Thank you, my brother, MALIK. What's good? What side of town you from?
I'm from the original West Side. The real West. The trade. Born and raised. All up through UP, University Park. Yeah.
What was it like growing up as a kid for you?
Man, nothing like how it is today, man. Always outside. The neighborhood, was kind of like your lifeline, where you grew up at. Rec centers, parks. I can go as far back all the way to as a youngin' running around, water gun fights. Yeah, man, it was nobody was in the house. Everybody outside.
Facts.
Yeah.
Who were some of the people you looked up to growing up?
It had to been the guys from the hood, getting money. Guys in the Cadillacs, guys driving the Maximas, those Nissan trucks. The Nissan trucks look like Transformers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looking back, what do you think pushed you towards the streets and hustling at such a young age?
It had to be the lifestyle, seeing how guys move, never need nothing, everything they wanted, they had. Everybody in the neighborhood looked up to them, from the pee-wees, to the old people, somebody always needing them,
Mm-hmm. When did you get involved in the streets, selling drugs, licks, whatever? How old do you think you were when you first got in?
Oh yeah, shit, I was young, shit. I couldn't have been older than no older than 12, maybe I think I was about 11 or 12. That's when I got my first pack. And being on the block, believe it or not, in the beginning it was, when you get that pack and when you get it in your hand, everybody talk about what they'd do when they get it, but when you get it in your hand, it's a whole different ball game. Back then it wasn't like it to sell itself. You had to actually physically beat up. Put the hours in, the time, hand to hand. I jumped out the porch early, man. Yeah.
At that time, what was your mindset? Was it survival? Was it money? Was it respect? Or was it something else?
I think back then it was more like this is what I see everybody else doing. So, to get to where they at, that's what I'm gonna do. At that young age, I wasn't old enough to drive, but just being in the in crowd, trying to run with the big boys, doing everything that I see they doing.
Can you remember a point, or do you remember a point where you realized and you say, man, I'm in this shit deep? And what was that moment like?
It probably was like 99. My mom, she had moved from the hood. We had moved kind of far out, but I still was going, every day to the hood. I went and hit my first lick with one of the guys from the hood. I went and hit my first lick, and just being in that situation, being in that house, actually being in the thick of it, in the trenches, and just seeing how everything was, how everybody was moving. It's like a switch. When a switch came in my head, and I'm like, man, it's not the movies, it's real life. I'm knee deep in it,
At your height, I ain't gonna ask how much you made. I ain't gonna never ask nobody that. How much you think you blew?
I think it was like 08. I think it was like 2008 CIAA. I woke up like I guess it was like that Friday morning, You know, plenty concerts. You know, different rappers' appearances at all the clubs. I woke up. You know, back then I had a BMW. I went to Dirty South, bought some. I think I bought some 22-inch Dub floats. Got a limo tinted. I had changed the grill. You know, went home, got my dome, changed the grill on the dome. I think I that day, just on my cars, I think I spent anywhere about 8 bands at Dirty South. Left there, go to South Park, blew like another 1,500, and then we hadn't even went out yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah. You know, that could have easily been a 10-band day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
10-12 band day.
Yeah, a easy 10-band day.
Yeah. Now, as we know, the streets always give you something, but it always takes something away. What do you think it gave you, and what did it cost you personally?
Well, back then, man, my daughter, she was born in 07. And, you know, back then, I kind of was in the mind frame of like, as long as I'm helping out financially, you know, I really didn't, financial was more important than actually being there. So for the little bit of time I was free, you know, before I went to prison, after my daughter was born, it was more me doing, you know, financial, you know, paying this, buying this, making sure she was straight, but not physically being there. And so that's what it cost. It cost the time. If I could change anything, that's what it would be. The time that I did have on the street, you know, spending it with my daughter, having her around me all the time. So, you know, I guess that's why I go so hard, you know, for my grandson. You know, I want to constantly be in his life every step of the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We both have lost some people close to us. I mean, I lost a close friend, but you lost some blood brothers. That's a pain a lot of us can't even imagine, man. Can you talk about what it was like for you?
I lost 2 brothers to gun violence in Charlotte. My oldest brother, that was KC. I lost him in 06. It came out of nowhere, like that. No, I still remember that night when the task force came to my house, you know, asking me questions, and you know, I'm kind of like spinning them because I ain't heard from him, not knowing what's going on, but. You know, what stuck in my head before they left, they was like, you know, how many gold teeth did your brother have? And by them coming to me, asking me about, you know, his whereabouts, and then at the end asking me how many gold teeth he had, I felt that it was something serious. I felt that, you know, it had to really be about him. So that's a day that always replays in my head over and over. And then, you know, my little brother Darius, Big D, I had just got picked up by the feds on a gun and drug charge, and I was sitting in the county and, you know, get up, watch the news, and see a story come across the screen. So I'm like, you know, damn, you know, that's right there in the hood. Call the streets, and to get the news that kind of way, man, it's like getting hit with a bag of rocks, man. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
How did their deaths affect your choices and the way you carried yourself in the streets?
All right, that's powerful, man.
Okay.
That's powerful.
How many times did you get locked up, and what charges were you facing?
And I've probably been locked up. Over, I know, over 20. It might be even 30. Anything from identity theft, uttering of a forged instrument, to first-degree murder, robbery, possession, trafficking.
Did prison at first harden you more, or was it when you started to see things different?
It really was like my second bid. I went to the feds. First time I was on state. Second time I went to the feds. And I'd be lying if I said, before I got out, my second time, that I was like, I'm done. I still was trying to come up with ways, because I was so good at what I did, so it wasn't until I had actually got out and, started taking this program.
When you came home, what made you decide to leave the old life behind?
So when I got out, I went to the halfway house in Columbia, South Carolina. Back then, Charlotte didn't have a halfway house, and I was just looking for a way to, put my passes in, and it was like the quickest way to get passes was you had to be working. The dudes that was telling me about turn 90, everybody kept saying, Malik, I'm telling you, you go to turn 90, they're gonna give you a job, you'll take this program, you'll be able to take home passes. So when I went and did my assessment, the program manager, she was like, at the end of my assessment, she was like, Malik, you got like almost a 90% chance of going back to prison if you don't change. And that stuck in my head. Like, I was like, what? She was like, yeah, so you would be great for this program. So at that moment, I was like, at least I'm gonna come every day and see what they talking about. Cause I ain't wanna go back to prison, man.
Right.
Yeah, I was fed up. I was tired.
What role did the Turn 90 program help you in turning your life around?
First, it start from within. If you want to change, it starts from within. You got to be able to recognize that, and every day you wake up, that's what you got to be telling yourself. I don't want the old me. I want a new identity. I want to move different. I want to think different. The program helped define and recognize, skills, everyday life skills. Man, this is even though this is what guys learn that's in the program, but people that have never taken the program, never been to prison, never even lived a criminal lifestyle, just given these 25 skills, they find them very helpful. Some of them, it's like stop and think. That's one of the life skills that we learned at Turn 90. Deciding to be responsible, responding to authority, and so on and so on. So like for the first hour and 30 minutes of the day, when you get there from 9 to 10:30, it's like you're in a classroom setting and you are going over like cognitive behavioral training 5 days a week. You're doing homework, you got to be punctual on time, you're doing role plays, you brainstorming with your peers in the class with you, and then just seeing the guys that's taking the program with me, when they do their homework, they going up there, they doing their homework assignments, and they are acting out, role playing, and just seeing the things that they coming up with for their homework. I'm like, damn, I'm going through the same thing. And then you're able to brainstorm, help them critique them in the situations that they going through. That help me out,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now you've been recognized all over the country for the work you're doing. What does that mean to you, especially considering where you came from?
When I sit back, D, and I think about when it all started, where I came from to where I am now, man, it's unbelievable. I tell the guys, every day when I go to work, and when they come in the print shop with me, and I ask them about class, and most of the time when they tell me the skills they went over, the exercise that they worked on that particular day, I try to always give them an example of myself because I went through the program,
Mm-hmm.
and I always end it with, it's nothing special about me. I'm just an ordinary person, but I know, coming from where I've been, if I can change, you can change, man. You really gotta want it yourself. You know what I'm saying? It gotta be in you. If you really want to change. If you tired. It's an easy and softer way. For real.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. You now a grandfather, man. Congratulations on that, for real. How does that feel, and how does that motivate you to keep you pushing forward?
It's almost like it's a feeling I can't even explain, man. Like, when it comes to my grandson, Noble, it's like, first of all, he looks, when I look at him, I can see me.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a 1-year-old me, and all the things, a lot of times I replay in my head not being there for my daughter, all the choices that I made, going down the wrong path, and it just always brings me back to, I want to be there with him every step of the way for him.
Right.
It's nothing I won't do.
Yeah.
This past weekend, he had his first birthday party. I dressed up in a Cookie Monster outfit, costume. I was a Cookie Monster at his party. His birthday was yesterday. We went to Chuck E. Cheese. I was able to get off work, drive an hour, get to Chuck E. Cheese, man. Just, physically be there. It's not all about the financial, what you buying them, because at that age they don't even remember.
Right.
All they remember is, the presence of you being there.
Mm-hmm.
Chasing behind them, sitting them on your lap, feeding them some ice cream, feeding them some cake.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that they can remember. And man, it brings so much joy to me that I have the time, and I was able to just actually transform from what I was to where I am now, to just be able to be there for them every step of the way.
Blessings, bro.
Yeah.
What are some lessons you want to pass down to them that you wish somebody might have gave you?
There's so many life lessons, man. Especially from a male figure to another male. Most importantly, man, at an early age, my father Stick used to try to tell me, son, you could have as many women friends as you want. Because a lot of time, women friends are genuine. But when it comes to these knuckleheads, keep them few. You don't need a lot of knucklehead friends. A lot of the times, really most of the time, they really don't like you. They envious of you.
Yeah.
It's okay to dream big and chase your dreams.
Yeah.
It's okay to dream big. You dream big and you up here. That's what you chasing. That's what you're trying to reach. Don't be afraid. Man, it's a lot of life lessons that I want to teach my grandson. And I'm just blessed to be around, to be there for him.
All right, I'm gonna throw a few names out there, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
All right.
Peter Ball,
Killer.
Tootie Poop,
Hustler.
Cecil Jackson,
Infamous.
Mike,
Big Dog.
Malik, man, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for coming. Hopefully we can do it again. It's always a pleasure.
So we can do this every time I'm in there.
DNA Media.